Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got a case for you straight out of Ohio. And this is encapsulated around and very similar to P. Diddy is not the only one that is getting his thing on. And unfortunately, this similarity has to do with two Ohio teachers, and one in particular. Unfortunately, that has to deal with underage students. And this case went on. This alleged act, not case, went on for about 13 years, from 2003 to 2016. And evidently, these allegations that this one particular substitute teacher was doing with these underage teenagers, supposedly the school administration took a blind eye to some of the accusations and the allegations that took place up until recently. So this allegation went on, or this alleged misconduct went on for 13 years before the school administration and the school board did anything about it, let alone law enforcement. And so I try to bring you unique cases, and this is unique. We know teachers have had relationships with students in an inappropriate manner for decades. But this one, when I tell you this story, it's a little bit weird and strange. So let's go. Former Ohio substitute teacher, cheerleading coach, sentenced on child sex crimes. A former substitute teacher and cheerleading coach indicted in Ohio as recently as August on 6 counts of unlawful sex conduct against minors now faces a federal lawsuit that alleges abuse of numerous students from, listen to this time period, from 2003 all the way through 2016. The lawsuit filed recently by the firms Leesburg Tuttle and Abnor Weaker, LLP, named as defendants Paige Huck, her ex-husband, longtime River Valley High School, RVHS, wrestling coach, and teacher Matthew Huck. So Paige Huck, the substitute teacher, her ex-husband, who was the wrestling coach and teacher, Matthew Huck. It also names former principals T.R. Edwards and James Michael Jacobs, former district superintendent Jude Myers, and the Gallia County Local Schools Board of Education. These are all part of the lawsuit. So this lady goes by Paige, but her name is Michael Paige Huck. We're going to call her Paige. She's 45 years old, referred to as Paige Huck in court documents. SA abused lead plaintiff John Doe, sexually abused lead plaintiff John Doe, and numerous others despite rumors, indications, evidence, actual complaints, and written and oral reprimands about such conduct over the course of nearly 2 decades, the lawsuit alleges. The civil complaint claimed Miss Paige Huck's alleged abuse was made possible by the assistance, facilitation, and knowledge of her then husband, Coach Matthew Huck, and former school administrators named as defendants. As of Tuesday, the court docket did not list attorneys of record for the civil defendants, but the district has denied claims that allegations against Paige Huck weren't reported. So there's controversy between the school board, school administrators, and Ms. Huck, and what was actually alleged and what did they do about it. The statement from current Superintendent Philip Kuhn on the Gallia County local school's website, noting that agriculture teacher, and wrestling coach Matthew Huck was placed on leave as a result of this case. The law firm suing said in a press release on the lawsuit that former school higher-ups were being sued for their deliberate indifference, failure to investigate, and failure to report known essay abuse of multiple River Valley High School students between the ages of 13 to 17 by Paige Huck and Matthew Huck, both husband and wife at the time. The complaint included shocking allegations of abuse by the former varsity cheerleading coach and substitute teacher during a so-called lock-in at the Huck household in 2004. That's 20 years ago. Paige Huck and Coach Huck would frequently host parties. Does this sound familiar to P. Diddy? Sleepovers and lock-ins at their private residence, which typically included members of the cheerleading squad, football team, wrestling team, and or the FFA organization, the lawsuit says. Now, right there, why are parents allowing their their kids, to go spend a night at these teachers' homes and have lock-ins? Does it sound very similar to the P. Diddy alleged lawsuit? Multiple days of partying, and these parents are letting their teenage kids go stay with these grown folks? Not a good sign. During one such lock-in where pornography was playing on the living room TV, Paige Huck, the wife, engaged in sex intercourse with numerous male students in a bedroom where the wrestler victims stood in a line and took turns having sex with her as her then husband stood by and watched, the complaint alleges. Listen to the similarities in relationship to the P. Diddy allegations that he's up against. And these are two teachers in Ohio. The complaint alleged 3 cheerleaders witnessed the incident and immediately reported what they saw to Principal Jacobs on the next day of school. But the cheerleaders were never contacted again regarding what they reported, and no investigation or report of Coach Huck and Paige Huck's misconduct was performed by defendant BOE or its employees. BOE is the Board of Education. Instead, the cheerleaders were allegedly harassed by multiple River Valley High School staff members, including Paige Huck, prompting one to quit cheerleading altogether. This fact indicates that Principal Jacobs failed to protect the identity of the witnesses who reported the inappropriate behavior, subjecting them to harassment and discouraging any future witnesses from being honest and forthright about what they saw with the Hucks doing with students, the plaintiff's lawyers concluded. The complaint not only included allegations related to John Doe, but said Paige Huck abused victims A through E over a decade, A through E, over 10 years. Several of the alleged incidences took place during cheerleading and wrestling sleepovers, while Paige Huck was employed, but even though her employment ended in 2007, a 2007 resignation, and even though she was banned from being on school grounds, the ban was not enforced by school administrators, giving her free rein to prey upon, groom, and ultimately have sex contact with additional River Valley High School students from 2008 through 2019, including plaintiff, the suit alleges. Wrestlers John Doe, then a senior, and victim E, then a freshman, in February 2016, spent a night at the Huck home before traveling to a tournament, the lawsuit says. Paige Huck put 50 Grades of Shade on TV and proceeded to have sex intercourse with both wrestlers while her husband watched through a window on the front porch. Coach Matthew Huck allegedly texted his then wife while they were engaged in this SX act to ask her what she was up to. Paige Huck, the wife, substitute teacher, responded to her husband then, Coach Huck, via text and said that she was effing and essing she was effing one and essing the other. To which Coach Huck, her husband, responded, "That's hot, don't get caught," the complaint further alleged. In a recent revelation, the Hucks went on to divorce in 2020, the lawsuit says. And now, the former cheerleading coach has been arrested on these particular crimes, and her husband is in the whole wave of being indicted also, and could be a corroborating witness to what his ex-wife was doing with these young students. How in the world could this go on for 13 years? And when these students, and teenagers can't keep their mouth closed to save their lives. Teenagers, part of their whole realm of growing up is gossiping. And if you're engaging in this kind of behavior with adults, there's no way teenagers are going to keep this quiet. The administration had to have heard rumblings and rumors of what was going on at the Huck's house. And they were so egregious, allegedly, that they were doing sleepovers for multiple days over a weekend, multiple times. And the administration allegedly turned a blind eye on it. There are going to be innumerable amounts of lawsuits against the Board of Education, against the administration, against the school, against the principal, and all of the alike. This sounds very similar on a small scale to what Puffy P. Diddy is going through. What are we doing as adults in engaging in this inappropriate behavior with teenagers? If any of these allegations are true on what Miss Paige Huck was doing, she needs to spend at least 20 years in prison and register as a sex offender. And her husband, who is now her ex-husband, should also be just as guilty as Paige Huck. Remember, you can be guilty by association and assimilation. If you drive somebody to go rob a bank, and not only do they rob the bank, but they shoot the security guard, and you take the assailant off the property and you all leave, you're just as guilty as the person who committed the crimes. So Mr. Huck has his hands in hot water. And of course, Paige Huck, who's been indicted and arrested for this, probably will be spending a lot of time in jail. What is happening with our teachers? Teachers are here to be mentors and are here to teach, not to take advantage of these immature young people that are trying to find themselves, figure things out, try to navigate through this world, and trying to figure out what career, what jobs they want, what college they want to go to. And then you have all of this craziness taking place at this high school in Ohio. The administrators, the parents that were allowing these students to go over there, everybody needs a wake-up call and needs to look in the mirror and take accountability. We as adults need to be mentors and need to be showing young people to do the right thing. We not tear down our moral and ethical fabric, not only as adults, but what they have allegedly done to these teenagers. What a sad scenario. There are way too many victims. I don't see the Hucks getting out of this at all. But I had to do this video because it sounds very similar on a small scale to what Puffy Combs is being alleged to have done and committed at his parties and sleepovers. Tell me what you think on the similarities or differences. Tell me what you think about there's been an uptick in the number of teachers that have committed inappropriate behavior with preteen and teenage males and females. And this case sounds absolutely crazy. We got to watch our kids. School should be a safe haven for learning, for garnering a certain level of maturity and responsibility, learning, understanding wrong and right, and not engaging in this negative, disruptive, corruptible behavior that allegedly has taken place in this school in Ohio. Tell me what you think. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.